guys doing southbound?
Yeah.
Is that just typical?
I can hear you.
Is that typical busy traffic, or did the accident happen?
We're trying to figure it out. This guy's coming up to Iron Mountain. He said there's no.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've never seen it backed up like this
I
here.
think everybody's just deciding to go home because it's a nice weekend.
Yeah, but I've still never seen it this backed up here.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Hey, Tasha, how you doing? Appreciate the nice comments. What's going on over in the UK? Hey, Tim, how you doing? Yeah, buffering's a problem everywhere. I'm actually looking into getting something different than a phone. Hey, Chloe, how you doing? Everything's pretty good. Yeah, people on the streets, I'm curious about them as well. Hey, Ray, how you doing? I was just talking to friends of Maddie on the phone. Hey, thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. Nah, I'm not going anywhere. Hey, Cindy, how you doing? Hey, Beverly. What's going on? Hey, Melissa. Yeah, I think the system, like on busy days, like a lot of people are watching YouTube on Sunday. I don't know what it is, because I'll do it through the week sometimes and people complain of buffering. Can I ask about what? What in the street interviews? Hey, Tim, that's cool. What part of Pennsylvania? Hey, Thunderbird. I spend all my off hours deleting nasty comments. Oh, Allentown. Yeah, I used to go to that paper show there, that photography and book show. I do interviews wherever I go, but I don't travel like I used to. I'm in West Branch, Michigan. It's about 180 miles north of Detroit. It's a warm, rainy day. Yeah, I lived downtown Chicago for 13 years. I used to do a lot of work in southern Illinois, down around Carbondale. Oh, that's cool. Where are you at, Bianca? Yeah, it was a guy and a girl. Actually, I tried to get an interview with the guy. They shot him with that Narcan. It took 2 shots. He hopped up like he was having a bad dream. I caught up to him on Michigan Avenue. They didn't want an interview. No, I don't know Bill Sparrow. No. Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Oh, thanks, Bianca. Great. Delaware's a beautiful state. Yeah, it's a warm rain here. It's nice, actually. Oh, Ypsilanti, and I spent a ton of time there. I went to Eastern Michigan University. I kept an airplane out in Ann Arbor. Doing pretty good, Nicole. Hanging in there. Deleting nasty comments, blocking people. Yeah, Dan, man, he's a good-looking guy, you know, great personality. It just goes to show you, it can get anybody. You know, you always tend to think, geez, if I had a better personality, if I was looking, you know, how much different life would have turned out for me. But you know what? I mean, Dan's proof. That's not always how it works out. Yeah, Superwoman. Superwoman, you get a chance, email me. TOMREED 1956@gmail.com. Tom Reed 1956@gmail.com. Hey, appreciate it, Tim. Thank you. Yeah, Pamela, that's the same way I look at it when I'm down there. No, Melissa, I never have been. Nope. Once you get around places and you get comfortable with them, if I just dumped the average person off on Michigan Avenue at midnight, they'd probably be scared out of their mind. But if I took you down there as much as I spend in the city, after a while it'd be just like your own neighborhood. It's not being about brave at all. When I first moved to Chicago, I got there and I didn't know anybody. And I got off the train and I thought, oh my God, I am never going to figure this place out. And after about 3 years, I remember thinking to myself, I'm giving people directions how to get to places. I can't believe it. And by the time I left, I knew the whole city inside and out. Once that mystique is shattered, there's nothing to worry about. Crime happens everywhere. But mostly it's connected to drug deals. You know, the victims know the perpetrators. They're not going to go around offing strangers for the hell of it. No, I have not been carrying that pepper spray. Hey, Maxick, how you doing? Doing pretty well. Thought I'd get on here for a couple minutes. It's just, I mean, I don't want to seem like a jerk, but it's hard for me to keep up with emails now. And what happens is if you have a Gmail account and you're using the same Gmail for, you know, your videos, you're getting a video when you upload it, a video when it's approved after you've appealed. You're getting an email for every comment. Before you know it, you got 1,000 emails. They all look the same. You're scrolling down them, so there's sometimes people think that I'm just ignoring them on an email. I'm not. It's just so far down in the list, and they all look the same in the title. If anybody's sending me an email, put in the title something, and then it's easy to pick out. But otherwise, it's like I just get so buried, there's no way I could answer them all. Oh, okay, Port Sanilac. Yeah, I like that area. For whatever reason, there's a lot of big shots in the local hospitals around here from that area. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a creator. Not really. I mean, 20 years ago, I was a guy with a camera. Now I'm a creator. I don't think so. Not really. I mean, it depends what definition you use. Yeah, but the content would be nothing without the people that I interview or the condition of Detroit. If I didn't live near, or was in driving distance, and I didn't interview the women I've interviewed, I wouldn't even have a channel. I mean, I'm not bullshitting myself. And once that old algorithm goes hog wild on YouTube, you're home free. It isn't because I've gotten better all along. There's way better channels out there than mine. No, believe it or not, Pamela, I mean, my experience is they have family, access to rehab, you name it. It isn't a lack of resources. I mean, you learn a lot being out there. I think sometimes it's a blessing that the children, in certain cases, aren't anywhere around their parents. Yeah, people want to ride with me and follow me around. I'm just such a total loner, man. I mean, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I just don't like people with me when I'm doing stuff. Really, anywhere. If you look at my videos, even when I'm up north here, you'll never see anybody with me. I mean, I use the excuse that, because I don't want to seem rude, that Daisy doesn't like people sitting in her seat. That is true. But even if I didn't have Daisy, I'd be by myself. And when I'm driving around Detroit or I'm taking photos or something, it bugs me if somebody's sitting there. It just changes things. I can't adequately describe it. I mean, I think it's linked to some kind of mental illness. I do. It's not normal. Yeah, that Campbell building, man, there are actually families living there. Yeah, Rachel, thanks. I just got off the phone with friends of Maddie. Hey, how you doing? I really, unless I can be on these chats, I'm not going to do them anymore. It's just every kook in the world seems to get on them. And if you go to the bathroom for 5 minutes or make something to eat, you come back and they've left a bunch of weird shit. So it's just not, I'm just not going to do it anymore. I've thought of podcast. I kind of research those. Podcasts just look like they're boring as hell. I've looked at live stream interviews, which I think I may go with, but I just don't want to do it with a cell phone. You know, honestly, I'm not really into like building some channel with, you know, matching pajamas. The top matches the bottom with my logo on them, and a bumper sticker, and a t-shirt, and a mouse pad with my name. And I just can't get into this shit. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing something to like thank people for watching, or money would go to some damn thing, but I just really can't come up with something. Every time I sit down and I think of something that like I would like to do, I end up thinking, why are you doing this bullshit? I mean, YouTube will have you think that you're this just great creative mind that is building a channel, but it's a bunch of bullshit. I'd rather send someone a token of my appreciation for having kindred spirits, not because they subbed or joined or sent $5 to somebody. I mean, I really don't, man. I'm thankful that I haven't hoarded myself out yet, like for views, or as you look, I put up the same videos all the time. I know what's going to get views and what isn't. And thankfully, I'm still putting up the videos that don't get views, and I know they're not going to get views. Yeah, one more person to worry about. Isn't that the truth? I mean, I would say if you look at the whole entire picture, that about 30% of the people that are active in the channel, you know, I'd like to sit down and have a lunch with. The other 70%, I'd just like to drop kick him in the ass right off the top of a skyscraper. Just ignorant, stupid, making inferences all the time, judgmental, rude, hillbilly, beer drinking, NASCAR, bud drinking lowlifes. I'm not shitting you, man. There are so many dipshits that have a computer now, it's unbelievable. You know, I just wonder sometimes what this channel would have been like when only half-assed intelligent people had computer access. Would have been way more interesting people, better discussion, interesting dialogue. I mean, these banshees and savages that come on here, I got a blister on my finger from blocking and banning them. Yeah, I would. It's just not fun, man, talking nasty about the people I interview. Nothing with being just a hillbilly, but that's not the problem. It's the associated behavior that comes with some of these hayseeds. Well, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I just want to like, just it to be like what it is. Just, you know, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement. I appreciate it, Sailor. It's just so many jackoffs out there. Yeah, thanks, Chris. If this is the real Chris Hansen, you're a big prick. Finally, that karma caught up with that jerk. when he had that Catch a Predator show. I mean, it's terrible that people are soliciting underage kids. I get that, right? But he wasn't much different. He was just a big asshole just on the other side of the camera. So that's the $50,000 question. I mean, you know, I'd pay YouTube if I could just somehow have a crystal ball to like just get the kind of viewers that, you know, you can have actual dialogue with, that would improve a channel and be kind of a think tank for you know, better ideas. I mean, this addiction thing, man, here's the deal on this. You know, I've mentioned this before. We've got all these great universities. We got this think tank right down the street from Detroit, the University of Michigan Institute for Social Research. It's all a bunch of all A students. They don't do jack shit. They think coming down and cleaning the ditches out in Brightmoor for 2 days is like saving the world, and they go back to driving their parents' BMW and using their credit card for lobster dinners while they go to college full time. That's not going to college. But when they come out with their published studies about poverty and drug, they don't do shit. I mean, there's just as much or more addiction and alcoholism and dysfunction and abandonment as there's ever been. So, I mean, when you consider the resources they have, when I'm down there interviewing people, if they haven't figured it out, how in the hell am I going to figure it out? I mean, believe me, I'd like to, but I don't know what to do. I think the thing that I do is just be nice to them. Take a few minutes out of their day where somebody doesn't want something for them. I mean, that's where I'm at right now. I would love to wave a magic wand over every one of them. But this is certainly out of my intellectual capacity. I mean, look at this Dr. Phil and this. They make TV shows out of this stuff. Don't you think I'd be doing something if I could? I mean, people say, well, do you think what if they overdosed on the money you give them? I mean, would you quit taking your grandchildren swimming because they might drown? I mean, there are risks out there. I understand this. But I'm not the cause of them. And Dr. Phil is a joke, man. You'd have to, he could put you over the edge. He's totally whored himself. Now, there's another guy that lost his privileges as a licensed counselor for fooling around with his patients. Damn shitbag. I have people, and I get about, I would say, 20 comments a day, like, what do I do with these women after the interview? You know, stuff like that. It is so damn ridiculously ignorant. If you haven't figured out by now, you know what's actually refreshing about this whole thing is there's never even been one incident with any of these women where it's even been joked about. I mean, that is so off the damn charts. It's ridiculous. I mean, not even an innuendo, nothing. It's the stupidest ass comments I've ever heard. I think Dr. Phil does have a PhD. I'd have to check on that again. You know, he got his ass handed to him when he was doing that Britney Spears stuff, because he had already had his license taken away and he was going over there. That's why Dr. Phil will refer to himself as a life counselor, because they'd break it off in his ass. He's not a licensed psychologist. Yeah, I've never tried weed, to tell you the truth. I don't like the smell of it. I mean, I don't claim that's any claim to fame. I just haven't fooled with it. Hey, Stephanie, how you doing? I mean, the one thing I do suggest, and that is that, you know, money should be put into, like, trying to change his lifestyle other than rehab, because society gets stuck with the bill one way or the other anyway. It's kind of like an annuity. It can go either way. Hey Jared, how you doing? So I'm just, you know, looking for there's no great solutions coming down the pike for me. Hey, Steve, how you doing? I think rehab, I mean, it is effective for some people, but you need like a follow-up program. I'm reading quite a few books. I'm reading this book right now on heroin. It's really interesting. You can pick this book up cheap. Mine is kind of a beat-up copy. I never used to buy soft-cover books, but I do now. Crystal meth, yeah. I don't ever run into anybody that does crystal meth. When I lived in Chicago, there was a lot of it around, but I have not interviewed one person that does crystal meth. Yeah, I have learned about it. I'm not that far into it, but I've learned about, of course, the physiological connection, and I've learned about that there's a social network that takes place for these people just being a heroin addict. It's like a camaraderie that they didn't get elsewhere. Crazy as it sounds, they're all in the same boat, and they can identify just like a group of old men would be flying model airplanes. And that means something to them. Barry White, he's getting out of there. Crazy. Yeah, here we go. No, I got rid of them. Don't worry. The app on deleting these morons is slow on the mobile version. See what I mean? This is just a little tip of the iceberg of these wackos that are out here. Oh yeah, I believe it. Music. Yeah, both those people popped right up from OD. The guy and the girl. She went to the hospital. He refused treatment. I tried to get an interview with him when he was walking down Michigan Avenue, but he declined. Doing pretty good, Blue Jeans. No, I don't think they are either. I mean, $10. I mean, I do pay them more than that. I give them money sometimes when I don't even interview them, man. I did that like 3 times when I was down there. And I do that because I feel bad for them, and I don't want to seem like a jerk that their story isn't interesting, but you know what? It's not interesting, so I just pay them and don't interview them. I mean, what can you be mad about then? Oh, thanks, Blue Jeans. I mean, you listen to the dollar amounts they say they spend. I mean, I don't know if it's accurate. Helena, it's a total headache all day long. Yeah, see? Yeah, crystal meth, yeah. Oh, thanks, BB. How you doing, BB? I appreciate it. No, it's actually, I talked to that Mark, the older guy that had been in prison 29 years. There's a lot of conversation that goes on off camera. And he said that if you miraculously scooped up everybody that was on drugs on Michigan Avenue and took them all away and they lived great lives, there'd be an equal number of people to replace them the next day. It's just one of those things. It's just the way it is. No, the girl that like Maddie, I had relatives of hers contact me, though. They're trying to find her. Yeah, Tier, I mean, I tell people, though, I mean, who isn't aware of drug-addicted women in big cities? I don't think I've done anything prolific. It's just curious about their lives, so I interview them. Oh, thanks, music. No, I really don't. I just started getting money from YouTube because what gets me, up until last November, I made $935 after 11 years. I'm starting to get some money now. But like I tell people, I mean, every trip to Detroit's at least $300. Usually it's $500. And I think I'm going on my 12th year. So if you look at my 5,500 videos, I'm deep in the hole. I've given the money to the women from their videos. It's not what you think because it gets pegged as not suitable for most advertisers. It's right next to being demonetized. As a matter of fact, when there was money for Tassie's videos, these people believe this bullshit when you look this stuff up on the internet about what people make. It's a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, I didn't want Tassie to think that I was ripping her off, so I actually paid her twice as much as her videos garnered, just to keep her from thinking I was a crook. If I had the same kind of views baking chocolate chip cookies, I'd be really making some bank. But that videos not suited for most advertisers is an absolute killer. Now, that doesn't happen with every video, but anytime I start talking about women working the street, drug issues, crime, you don't see it on your end, but I get the yellow dollar mark. And then I appeal it for a manual review. Once in a while, I'll pass, but 99% of the time I fail, and my content is considered basically undesirable for most advertisers. Now look, you gotta understand it this way. It is YouTube's channel. They can do what they want with it. And they don't want an interview with a girl working the streets coming up in the middle of a Bible camp advertisement, or a hamburger, or a new car, or a vacation. They're calling the shots. I mean, if it wasn't for YouTube, nobody'd know about any of this, so I really can't complain. On the other hand, I think that the videos generate a lot of interest. And if you want real, well, this is what people are really watching. What's wrong with putting an advertisement in it? So, I mean, there's pros and cons like anything else. Overall, I love YouTube. I'd just be a guy with a camera that nobody knew about without him. And I'm thankful for that. No, I mean, you're right, Pamela, but it's the same. If you look at in a lot of, well, all that I've ever known of, if you look at like Miss America, professional athletes, there's a clause in the contract called unfavorable notoriety. And that can be basically anything. And all as that is something that isn't proud of what a sponsor or advertiser would seem good. You know, a positive image. So if you're LeBron James and you roll your Lamborghini upside down with two topless dancers, your contracts are canceled. You don't need to be convicted. You don't need to be charged. Nothing. It's unfavorable notoriety. Miss America, when she gets caught berating a Lyft driver, they take her crown away and she loses all her sponsors. Nancy Kerrigan found that out with a couple comments she made about Disney. So it is a lot of, it's the double standard facade, but the really intelligent people, the ones with the higher IQs, the smart people, they know how to handle this. I mean, you may disagree with certain politicians and certain commentators, but you're not going to see them in the middle of a CNN broadcast flip somebody the bird. It's because they're smart and they know that the game's over. But they're going to encourage legislation and they're going to get their political candidates into office and they're going to ram it up your ass in an educated way, not a hillbilly way. The guy flipping Trump off as he goes by in his motorcade is looking for work. The guy that keeps Trump from either getting elected or unelected, he's sitting down, dinking around and on his iPod in the Bahamas. eating caviar. Yeah, I was so glad to see Vanessa Williams make it after that, because that was at a time when, that stuff was considered a big deal. Now having a X-rated video or nude photographs seemed to enhance your career. Ask Paris Hilton or the Kardashians. Speaking of the Kardashians, I don't know. I can't figure out for the life of me why anybody would watch more than 3 seconds of them. They have got to be the most boring people in the world. I don't even think they're attractive. Yeah, I mean, our culture is so ass backwards. I mean, I don't find anything. These reality shows, even these talent shows, have been all manipulated and streamlined. Yeah, people always ask me about, why I do these. I've been this way my whole life, actually. Just doing stuff, traveling around, talking to people. I did photography for like a million years. I mean, I did tons of 15,000-mile road trips, large format black and white photography. And I kind of got bored with that. And then, YouTube came around and I started a channel basically to have a platform for my own stuff. And, went from videotaping chicken dinners to kind of dropping photography and doing more video work. And then, YouTube came along and I was surprised there are other people out there that like the same stuff that I do. Yeah, it's true, Greg. Yep. Yeah, I do spend a lot of money on gas and, but I don't mind. Are you talking about Black Girl? Hey, Jenny. Yeah, I thought Black Girl was cool. I mean, people handle being approached different ways. I mean, if everybody did the exact same thing, nobody'd watch. Yeah, Hawaii is so damn expensive, man. I went there one time to Maui. I thought it was cool, but I wouldn't want to live there. Everybody I know that moved to Hawaii moved back. The same goes for everybody, including me, that moved to Florida moved back. Yeah, I've heard that invisible people guy before. Heard about it. Yeah, it's my passion. That's right. I mean, I've always got a plan B in mind, in case YouTube boots me off. Yeah, I mean, making a difference is vague. I mean, I hope that. But I'm not going down there thinking that I'm making a difference. I would like to think that I do, but I don't have anything to hang my hat on, other than, asking questions. I haven't done shit. I hated Florida, everything about it. I hated the crime. I hated the traffic. I hated the humidity. I hated the people that were down there in the winter. I loved the wildlife. But everything else, I absolutely hated. I still have a bed and breakfast in Florida. And the further south of West Palm Beach I got, the more I hated it. I do have a Patreon thing, but here's the thing. First of all, I don't want people sending me any money because that'll change things. Okay? If they want to give money to the women, I'll be glad to deliver the envelope. I don't open them, look at them, none of that bullshit. People do send money sometimes. I don't know how that damn thing even got on my thing. I never put it on there. I got the Patreon because I figured, well, people want to send a card or something to these women. Then they just started sending cards, so I never really used it. But, YouTube will try and get you to, charge people in a super chat or something like that. Man, I'm not doing any of that. Manny hasn't gotten any mail yet, but that's kind of my fault because the post office box thing kind of took off with Rebecca. Nobody really knew. I mean, we talked about Maddie getting her own P.O. box, but with a lot of these women, ID is the problem. Getting a P.O. box is a pain in the ass now. It was hard for me to get one, and I already have one. So what I think the best thing to do is people send me the whatever, and I'll give it to them. I still have the P.O. box in Detroit, but it's easier if they just send it to my P.O. box in Michigan, at West Branch. I mean, it doesn't matter which one it goes to because I locked the box in Detroit. I don't really know why. Methadone, I know it takes away it satisfies the physical need, but you don't get the high off it. Most people I talk to that have done methadone didn't like it. No, I mean, Hawaii is absolutely beautiful, man. It doesn't even look real. It's so beautiful. Cassie's doing fine, working full time, just got engaged. I locked the P.O. box, because I'm still kind of naive. And I'd given out a couple keys to a couple women, and I just got too much advice on what a disaster that was going to be. There would be nothing worse than people sending a card or cash to someone and nobody ever got it, and they never got it returned in the mail. So I eliminated that. Anything that gets sent to anybody, I'm the guy that's going to sort out the mail, and I will record anything given to anybody and upload the video so it gets to them. I mean, one little exception is the card that I got from Marguerite that I dropped off at the store. I made the mistake of showing the lady's address on there. I didn't think it was a big deal. I don't care if anybody knows my address, but that's why the video was taken down. So from now on, I'll block out the address. I didn't realize people would be that sensitive about it. Methadone replaces heroin addiction. Satisfies the physical craving, but you don't get high off it. Yeah, I think it's a real. I think it's a big, huge racket. They just had an American Greed episode where some guy was ripping off people on this rehab down in Florida. Yeah, you're right, Greg. Body chemistry has a lot to do with it. It's funny you should say that because, if you look at some people that just got done shooting heroin, when I've interviewed them, they want to nod, fall asleep. Where Rebecca gets very emotional and perked up. Yeah, if you're going to keep it real, though, you're going to be very limited and very restricted, which is fine with me. I already got more people interested than I ever thought I would. So, I mean, how can I be disappointed? Yeah, liquid handcuffs. That's a good metaphor for heroin. If you listen to these people and you watch their facial expressions during that interview, I think maybe it's because they're so much younger than him, but I'm always thinking like innocent little girl in a way. Talk to them. You're right, Laura. You're right about that. People say, well, how do I know the money I give them doesn't go to drugs? I know that the money I do give them does go to drugs. It does. But I also know that, let's take for an example, and this is why, this is the advantage of not being a licensed professional sometimes. let's say I decide to give, or somebody else did decide to give Rebecca $100. She probably used it to like not walk the streets for 2 days. And to me, that's an improvement. Those were 2 days she didn't have to get into cars with complete strangers and risk her life. And to me, that's an improvement. But if I was a psychologist or a licensed drug counselor, I'd get canned or my license revoked because that's against the code ethics. So in a way, I'm unbiased because I'm not a licensed professional, and you can't argue against my logic with what Rebecca did with $100. Yeah, people are responsible for their own actions, but this addiction is a real ringer in a lot of this. It's not like, I think I'm going to have peanut butter and jelly or tuna fish. People think, the choice is just this simple. There's a lot of factors that come into being a heroin addict, and it isn't as simple as, oh, you know what? It's Monday. I think Tuesday I'm going to start becoming a heroin addict. It's just this idiotic way of simplifying it. It is a national emergency. I agree. Yeah, I don't know if you guys were listening when I talked the other day. I get around, I do photography and videography, unrelated interviews, and I just happened to run into a Homeland Security guy the other day, and he asked me if there were any places that I felt were unsafe. It's like, yeah, there is. The Rouge Bridge is an example. You got the main infrastructure of the city coming in from the south. It just got rebuilt. It's like 1 billion people going each way all day long. And you can just go back there and dink around. There's not a camera up there. The gates are never locked. He said, oh, really? I mean, I see these Homeland Security guys sitting around twiddling their thumbs and out in the middle of an open field. How can you be in Homeland Security and you gotta ask some dumbass like me that's down there dicking around with a camera, do I see any places that appear unsafe? I mean, what are you doing when you're driving around? So I sketched it out for him on a map, but before he left, I showed him where it was on a Google Earth. It's crazy. I mean, a nice guy, I'm not blaming him, but what the hell are these people doing out there? I mean, let me tell you, it's a rough life down there on Michigan Avenue. That's like, they're not very kind to like drug addicted people, people with a lot of health problems in Russia. And that's kind of how Michigan Avenue strikes me, how it would be over there. Lubbock, Texas, hello. All right, ABD, take care. Betty, I can't see them all. What's your question? I'm looking on a phone screen. It goes by so quick you can't even read it. Oh, thank you, Milkman. Appreciate it. Oh, well, you better say it quick because I only got 5% juice on my phone. What about Raven? This phone's going to be dying, you guys, so I apologize. I'll get on later at home. The lady was asking me about Raven. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to send Raven something, send it to me. I put my P.O. Box. It's Tom Reed, R-E-E-D. P.O. Box 41, West Branch, 2 words, Michigan, 48661. I'll post it again later. Yeah, have a good day, Spirit in Disguise. Sorry about this. My phone's like dark now because it's about ready to die. I may have to bite the bullet and get one of these damn Apple iPads. God, I just hate the thought of it. But this phone doesn't cut it. I didn't know I'd be on the phone. I just thought I'll get on here and answer some questions. I didn't bring my charger. No, thank you. I'm all cool. Hey, Jim, how's it going? Give me a call when you can. Wait a while, though, because my phone's about ready to die. I'm going to talk right up until it dies. Yeah, you have a good too, Robin. Call in about an hour, Jim. When my phone gets this dead, it's not like I plug it in and start talking. Yeah, I think all the women get donations one way or the other. I'd take care of that myself. I'm not out to make anybody look bad. The white girls get more to the black girls. The pretty girls get more than the plain Janes. It's just the way it is. I try and balance the scales. Yeah, thanks, Joe. I don't really do much. Just turn on the camera. Yeah, I don't want to be famous. No way. God, no. God, I hope not. Yeah, you too. Music Monkey Man, you too. Surprise it. Oh, thanks, Candy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I gave some people, paid them like I was interviewing them, and I didn't interview them. I just don't want to seem like a jerk. Somebody comes up, I got a story, and I'll kind of ask them, like about what? Well, I drink too much beer every day. Well, I'm not going to tell him. Yeah, that'd be good, Jim. I'm not going to tell him that I'm uninterested in that. I just pay him and don't interview him. Hell, I'd be interviewing myself. Can't believe this. I'm still talking. Hey, Cinderella, how you doing? One of my favorite people, by the way. Really a sense of normalcy out there. I don't have any crazy, whacked out psycho comments, not once. Oh, why do I do the interviews? I think I do them because I find it interesting. I think they like telling a story. And shit, boy, I tell you, I can't really give you an answer than that. I mean, I'd interview a guy milking cows if I can find one. Cricket is in rehab, supposedly. Yeah, I mean, caring's great, but I am starting to feel guilty about not doing something. I mean, I just called friends of Maddie's because it's like, God damn, how many times do I go down there and see this and not do something? What? No, I don't look down on sex workers at all. Yeah, I mean, I show my face, but you know, anytime I see someone just talking with a camera on them, I think to myself, what a weirdo. I mean, I'm not like secretive about people seeing me. It just seems so weird. Who wants to see me, my face, talking? God. You know, I love days like this. Warm, rainy, and overcast. Oh yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I treat him like I would treat anybody else. I just switched cameras. I had a Canon Vixia HFG 30, but I caught Canon lying to me. I thought the camera needed some maintenance. So I told them two things were wrong with it that weren't really wrong with it. Sure enough, I got the estimate back and they wanted to fix the two things and there wasn't anything wrong with them, so it pissed me off. I thought I'll never buy another Canon again. And I went and bought a Sony AX53. was half as much money, and I like it better. Yeah, these. Yeah, I don't want to be a social worker because then I'd like lose my license. If I give Maddie $10 because she's dope sick, I get fired as a social worker. You can't take away what I don't have. Hey Kathy, how you doing? Maybe this thing went into power saving mode. Can't take away what I don't have. That's my motto. What's that, Melissa? Oh, thank you, Pamela. I don't know if I'm intelligent. I mean, I try. I'm just as nuts as everybody else. I can tell with that comment you haven't watched all my videos. Oh yeah, the camera's really, I'm glad. Yeah, it pissed me off. I suspected them of doing that bullshit before. You know, self-fulfilling prophecy. They're such jack-offs about the cost of repairs. If you're one day over your warranty, they'll tell you to hit the road, so Canon can go to hell. Pervy, huh? Oh, thank you. Yeah, my van, that van, it's actually an X-surveillance van. It's set up so it can be heated and cooled without the engine running. That's why the